Hello, learners. Good day. Welcome to Solvebeta online coaching. Today, we're going to be looking at this topic: whole numbers, whole numbers, whole numbers. Now, this is for basic 5 and 6. Basic 5 and 6. Now, this is for basic 5 and 6. Now, the reason why I'm taking basic 5 and 6 together is this, because basic 5 and 6, the syllabus is not so different. And most schools that are in basics, most students in basic 5 for some schools are being taught with the syllabus of basic 6. In fact, most schools I know they don't have basic 6, just few schools with basic 6. So that's why I'm combining both together. But I will tell you what is expected of you if you're in basic 5 and what is expected of you if you're in basic 6. If you're in basic 6, it means that you've gone to basic 5. But if your school does not have basic 6, it means that you would assume that you are learning what those in basic 6 are supposed to be learning. Now, let's continue. Whole numbers. What are whole numbers? Whole numbers are counting numbers. They are different from fractions. The number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down to the last number known on earth. It can be billion, it can be trillion, whatever the number is. They are called whole numbers. These are whole numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000, 1 million. They are called what? Whole numbers. The difference between whole numbers and fraction is this. A fraction is expressed this way. You have two whole numbers written like this. One divided by another, which we also know as a rational number. A rational number. Ration, fraction, ration, fraction, rational, fraction. So we have different kinds of fraction. We have this kind of fraction which is known as a proper fraction. Now, what makes it a proper fraction? It's a proper fraction because the numerator, the number above, which is called the numerator, the number above, the whole number above is less than the one below. Denominator. The whole number above is less than the denominator below. The number above is less than the one what below. That's why it is called a proper fraction. Then the one that is not proper, which is improper, the opposite of a proper fraction, it is this 3/2. So are you with me? 3/2. This whole number here is bigger than the one here, is greater. The word is greater. This is greater than this. 3/2. This is greater than what? This. So 3 is greater than what? 2. That's why it is called an improper fraction. Like we were taught, improper fraction, like we were taught with this example. When a man of 30 years old is being carried by a boy of 20 years old, is not a balanced equation. Or when a 3-year-old boy, which is expected to be bigger than a 2-year-old boy, when a 3-year-old boy is being carried by a 2-year-old boy, it is what? Improper. When someone that is less than your age is carrying you, you are of course bigger than this person, but is carrying you, we call it an improper what? Fraction. A bigger number divided by a smaller what? Number. You can use that example. You can use car. If a bicycle is being carried or is carrying a bus, a bicycle carrying a bus, bicycle is obviously smaller in size is carrying a bus, something bigger than it, it is called an improper fraction. Then we have a mixed number. A mixed number comprises of a whole number and a proper fraction. You can have 3 whole number, 2 over 3, a whole number and a proper fraction. A whole number and a proper fraction together. That's why it's called a mixed number. It is mixed, or you might know it as a mixed fraction, but it's better put as a mixed number. I remember teaching one of my students mixed number. She always smile when I call it mixed number. I hope she's watching this video. So it's a mixed what number? A whole number and a proper fraction. Oh, you might be thinking to yourself, could it be a whole number and an improper fraction? If it's it will not be written as a whole number and improper fraction. It cannot be written as this. 4 whole number 4 over 3. If it's written as this, something needs to be done, which we'll look at later. Now, this is a preamble to what we are going to be looking at today. I'm sure you are not new to these terms: whole number, proper fraction, and mixed number. You are not new to it. You must have done it in you must have done it in basic 4, basic 5. The only thing that will be new to you is this terminology, mixed number. This term, that means me calling it mixed number. That might be what you are not used to. So this is a mixed number. The focus of our topic, whole number, is this. We want to learn how to count numbers in millions, how to identify, how to write them down, millions. If you are in basic 5 and you have another class that is known as basic 6, or you would go to basic 6, what you will be taught is millions. You will stop where millions. But when you get to basic 6, you will be taught up to what billions. This class, we're going to look at both. So that's the purpose of this class: how to identify numbers, how to call out numbers in their millions, billions, and so on and so forth. That's the goal of this class. So this is the preamble. You can write this down. You can pause and write it down. Then we move ahead. So you were taught in basic 4 the concept. When I say concept, I'm talking about a particular knowledge that you were taught. The concept of what you were taught in basic 4. Place value. Very, very important. Place what? Value. Now, place value speaks or gives us information about the position of numbers, the position of digits in the numbers, or the position of digits in a whole number. Let me use that. If I have 25, each digit here will be this number separated from this other number. The 2 digits makes up a whole number, 25. The 2 digits here, 2 numbers. Now, I'm using digit and numbers. I will tell you the different way I'm using them. Now, if I'm calling just one out of the whole number 25, I'm going to call it a digit. But if I'm calling both numbers, I will say it's a whole what number. So that's how I'm going to be using it in this class and the other classes to come. Now, 5 is a digit, 2 is also another digit. They have their place value, their position in this whole number, which you learnt to be units. The first one, you begin from the far right, units. Then this one is tens, unit and what? Tens. So 25 is a product of 20 plus 5. 20 will be 2 tens, 5 what? Units. Unit speaks of 1. 10 raised to power 0. 1. 10 raised to power 0, 1. Now, this is a little bit advanced. You will get there. So, 25 is a sum of 20 and what? 5. Addition of 20 and what? 5. you are adding them together. And this 20 can be written as 2 tens, 10 plus 10. 2 10 means 10 plus 10, or 2 times 10. Then 5 units, 5 times 1, or 1 in 5 places. I don't know if you get that. So, what if I have a bigger number? Let me write this number: 57238. Now, this comma, if you are beginning from your far right, because when you are talking about place value, always begin from the far right. The first number at the far right. This is what I mean. The first number here in this right position. Now, this comma is always written after you've counted 3 digits. 1, 2, 3. Put a comma. 1, 2. There's no third digit here to place the other comma. So if we are to write the place value of each of these digits, here, we are going to say, we'll divide this 3. Let me remove this comma. Let me divide this. We'll have units, tens. Then after 10 you have what? 100. Unit, tens, 100. Then you have thousand. Units, tens, 100,000. Then you have what? After thousand, you go to tens of thousand. You will not go to unit of thousand. You go to tens of what? Thousand. Tens of what? Thousand. T, then this th. Tens of thousand. Tens of what? Thousand. Tens of what? Thousand. We can also say that this is 50,000 plus 7,000 plus 200 plus 30 plus 8. I hope you can see that. We can say it's 50,000 plus 7,000 plus 200 plus 30 plus 8. So if we are to call this number, we will call it this way: 57,000. Because of this demarcation, 57,000, 57,000, this demarcation, this comma, 57,238. 57,238. Let me write that here with this black ink. 57,000, can put a comma, 200 and 38 and 38. 57,238. So these digits that makes up this whole number can be written as 57,238. I hope you got that. You can write this down again. I believe you've done that. When I say write that, you can pause the video and do that. So now let's after this, anytime you are given a number and you want to call it or you want to write it down, you can demarcate it or segment it. Okay, that can be a big grammar for you. You can divide it this way. Let's say I have this. I've not moved to millions. I'm still in tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands. Let's say I have a number this way: 123,109. What you can do, start from your far right, 123, you divide it. Let me use a comma to divide it. Comma. Then 123. Now, if there were to be another number, if there exists another number here, I'll put a comma, because after 3 numbers I put a comma. But because there's no any other number, I can skip the comma. I might not put, in fact, I should not put the comma. I should not put the comma until there is another number. So this demarcation can help you write down this number. It can help you assign the position, the place value, and help you write this number. This first is units, like we say unit. This is tens, this is hundred, thousand, thousand, because there's another t here. So to differentiate this t from this t, I write th. This one, tens of thousand, tens of thousand. Then this is hundred of thousand, hundred of what? Thousand, hundred of what? Thousand. Don't forget, there's nothing like unit of thousand. The moment you exceed thousand, you go to what? Ten of thousand, hundred of thousand, and so on and so forth. So calling this number, remember, in threes, 123,000. 123,000. Will not stop there because there are still other numbers. 123,000. 123,109. 123,000. 3,000. 109. 109. 123,109. We then proceed, we advance to millions. Now, what is million? Millions is the next place value after hundred of thousand. Ideally, so let me add one to this number. I've added the number 2 to this number. I've added one more digit to the whole number to make it something else. Now, remember, you can do this. Start from your file, demarcate it. You can put a comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. That comma I spoke about here. So I've put that. Now, I haven't done that. You see that this is different from this. It cannot be the same because this has how many digits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has 7 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you seeing it? So millions would have 7 digits. Now, looking at this, you know, we stopped here, hundred of thousand. One is hundred of thousand. Units, tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000, hundred of thousand. Let me write that. Units, tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000, hundred of thousand, hundred of thousand. Sorry for this. Let me write that properly. Now, hundred of thousand. Now, this is supposed to be thousand of thousand, but there's a word we use for thousand of thousand. Please don't write thousand of thousand. There's a word we use for thousand of thousand. It's called million. It's called what? Million. It's called what? Million. So this is what? Million. Million. There's a word for thousand of thousand, which is what? Million. Please, again, don't use thousand of thousand. Million. So this is 2 million. 2 million, comma. Then this here, 123,109. 2 million. The place value of 2 here is million. So after 100 of thousand, the next place value is what? Million. So you have 2,123,109. So you just add 2 million to this number above to write down this number. I hope you understand that. So you can write that down. That would be your first assessment. Write this down. 2 million, comma, 123,000, comma, 109. So I want to see you write that down. Now let me look for an example that is more advanced than this. Let's further this. Now, what if you, okay, before I go into that, you have thousand, you have thousand, right? bigger. Let me use my black pen. You have 1,000. Then this is 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. Then after 1,000, a million. A million. That's thousand of thousand, like I call it. Thousand of 1,000. 1,000 has three zeros. 1,000. Three zeros. 1 million has 6 zeros. That's why you hear people say six figures. I'm making six figures. Talking about the other digits at the back. So then the next will be billion. Billion. A billion. A billion is 1,000 million. It's 1,000 what million. 1,000 what million. That means you have a million. You are going to add these three zeros to the back of this what? 1 million. So you have 1 million. You add these three zeros. You add 1,000 to it. You add these three zeros to it. And technically, it means that you add three extra zeros to these zeros here. You have a billion. So 3 digits after this, you have million. 3 digits after this, you have what? Billion. So this is our focus: billion, million. Billion, basic 5, billion, basic 6. So now, let me write a number in words. 1 billion, okay, let me write total in words. 1,208,000,000. After billion, million. 500,000. 500,000. 1,208,500,000. Please take note, it's not 280 million, it is 208 million. So how do we do this? It will mean that you can start from the first number, 1 billion. 1 billion. So talking about billion, we know that we can put it this way. You have units, right? Units, tens, thousand, that comma. I'm going to use this demarcation. Okay, sorry. Unit, tens, hundred. They have that thousand, 10,000, TTH. You have 100,000. Then after this three, that demarcation again. Are you saying it? 100,000. Then after 100,000, you have million, right? Million, right? Million. Then after million, you have 10 million. 10 million. Then 100 million. 100 million. The same way, what works here also. You know, after 1,000, move to 10,000, 100,000. Then after million, you go to 10 million, 100 million. You not go to 1,000 million, 10,000 million. No, you go to 10 million, 100 million. This is the foundation. 10 million, 100 million. Then after 3, then next will be what? Billion. So you can write the number this way. First, write your place value. Unit, tens, 100, thousand, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion. So begin to place it. 1 billion. So 1 billion, 1 billion, 208 million. 208. Right? 208. 208 million. 208 million. 500,000. 500 here. 500. Then 1,000. 1,000 is 1,000. 2,000 is 2,000. 3,000 is 3,000. 40,000 will be 40, then 30,000. 500,000 will be 500, then 3 zeros. So this would then be 1,000,000, 1 comma 208. Okay, sorry, 1 billion, not 1 million. 1 billion, comma 208,500,000. So this is how to write a number of this magnitude, a number of this size, a number of this size. This is how to write it. I think I should do this again. So I'm going to do it again. I will not say you're going to watch again. Let me do it again so you can get it in depth. So to write this down, it would be very, very nice, or it would be very, very simple if you write down the place value. Start with that. So, the first place value is units. If you are starting from your far right, units. You can write it in words if it will help you, but mind your time. Units. The next one is tens, 100. I told you after 3, you put your demarcation. Then you have thousand. Why are we writing thousand as th? Because we are going to use t to represent tens. So after thousand, you go to 10,000. 10,000, TTH. 10,000. After 10,000, you go to what? 100,000. 100 H, then TH. Then you put your demarcation. Don't forget I said that you demarcate after 3. Place value, you put your demarcation. Then after 100,000, you go to million, which I jokingly call 1,000,000. You go to million. Then you have 10 million. 10 million. Please take note of this. You will not write after million. You don't say 1,000 million. It goes back to 10. 10 million. 100 million. 100 million. After 100 million, you will not go to 1,000 million. There's a word for 1,000 million. 1,000 million. There's a word for 1,000 million, which is billion. 1,000 million. Remember when I gave the example of 1,000 million and billion? 1,000 million is actually a billion. It's called a billion. So use the word billion for it. Billion. Then if you are to continue, you have 100. So you have 10 billion, tens of billion, 100 of billion, and so on and so forth. And so on and so forth. But that's not our focus. So how do we then write this? 1 billion. You come here, write your 1. 1 billion. 1 is under this billion. 1 billion. 208 million. 208 million. Write it here. 208 million. Leave this. 208 what million? Not 280 million. This is 280 million. 280 million. 280. But it's 208. Then 8. Okay, 208 million. 500,000. 500,000. 500,000. Why is it 500,000? Why is it written this way? Remember, 1,000 will be 1,000. 2,000, 2,000. 3,000, 3,000. 40,000 will be 40. 40,000 will be 40 here, then 1,000. But 500,000 will be 500,000. Did you get that? So that's why it is this way. So our digits, you can now write it this way: 1, comma. Please don't leave it this way, y'all. I've replaced this demarcation with a comma. So that's how to write 1,208,500,000. So I hope you got it. Now, let me go to something a little bit technical. You can rewind and write this down. You are in control of the class, so you can just, anything you don't understand, you can rewind, or you tell your parents or your guardian to help you move back. Then you watch again. You can take note. Please ensure you are taking note of what I'm doing so that it will stick. Now let's see. What did I have this? I want to go to something a little bit technical. If we are to write it in words, if we are to write it in words, 101, comma 200, comma 515. Now to write this in words, you can assign the place value. You can assign the position first. This is units, tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000. Let me write it this way: 10,000. You can let me write it this way. I can write it this way. You might not be used to it, but I can write it this way: 10,000. Yeah, 100,000. This is H. Then after 100,000, don't forget you go to million. Million. Then after million, 10 million. 10 million. 10 million. And after 10 million, you go to 100 million. 100 million. So if we are to write this in words, 100 million. Now remember, after 3 digits, we take a pause, then we'll continue naming. So instead of me say 100 million first, I'll say 101 million. We are calling it after 3 digits. We are saying it after 3 digits. That's the pattern to follow. You are saying it after 3 digits. 101 million. 101 million. 101 what? Million. That's why I'm using that comma. 101 million. 101 million and 1 million. 101 million. Put the comma. 200,000. You won't say 20,000 or 10,000. No, 200 after 30. 200,000. 1 million. 200,000. 200,000. 515. 515. 515. 101,200,000. 515. 515. 515. 500 and what? 15. So that's how you call or write down that number. That's how you write down that number. 101,200,515. So that's how you write down this number. Now, let me give you another example. I've given you so many examples. Please forgive me, I'm not putting example 1, example 2, example 3. I'm giving you so many examples. So okay, let me write this one in words so we can write the numbers down. What if you have 60? Let me use the blue pen to differentiate it. 67 million 7 million 2,000 and 2004. Now this looks short, yeah, but it can be a little bit technical. 67 million 2004. So what do? Since you have 67 million, tens of million, that's the largest or that's the greatest year. 67 million. So it means that this place value will end in tens of thousand. It will exceed million because you have 67,000. So what do you do? So let's have it. You have units, tens, hundred, ten, thousand first, thousand, th, 10,000, 10 th, 10,000. Or let me, for consistency sake, let me do it the way I did this. 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. You have 100,000. This I'm just doing this way because of space and because we know what we are doing. Please take notes. So after 10,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. Then after 100,000, we have what? Million. Million. After million, we have 10 million. 10 million. 10 million. If you are not sure about this, you can write 100 million. You can write it down to billion. If you are not sure, you can write it down to billion. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Then billion. Then you divide it into 3. After 3, you divide this 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, divide. 1, 2, 3, divide. 1, 2, 3, divide. So 67 million. 67 million is not 6,700 million or 600 and something million. It is 67 million. Talking about tens of million. So you come and write 67 million. 67 million. So having written 67 million, what do you then do? 67 million 2004. You see that there's a jump. From 7 million, there's nothing telling us about 100,000, 10,000. There's not telling us about 100,000, 10,000, 1,000. You just move to 2004. So you also jump. Yeah, 2004. That's 2004 units. 4 units. 2000 and what? 4. 2004. Not 2000, 2104 or 2024 or 2030 something. It's just 2004. So you have 200 then and this 4. If it's 2000 alone, 2000. But and 4 means that you add 4 units to it, so it will be 2000 and what? 4. So this is 67 million 2004. Now, what will happen to this place? We're not going to leave it like this. We won't write 67200 for that's wrong. We're going to include zeros, meaning that we have 0 here, 0 100,000, 0 10,000, whatever. So this is 67 million 2004. If I'm to write this, I will have 67 million, comma, 00 2004, comma, comma. 67 million 2004. 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 So one more example for the road. One more example for the road. In this class, we've learned how to write and write in words and also write as numbers, million and billions. And be able to differentiate million and billion for you. So write that down. You can rewind and write it down. One example for the road, then I will give you something to do. So if we have this, 4 if you have this. Now don't be afraid again. When you have a number, you have to write this in words. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just simplify it. Just what? Simplify it. How do you simplify it? Don't forget I said that in trees. In fact, if you are not even giving this comma, if you are not giving this comma, you are just giving this. The first thing you can do is to put the comma. That comma helps you to write the number in words accurately. It's like a demarcation. So this is unit. Let me write it under unit. You can write it above or below. Unit, tens, hundred. This will be thousand. This will be 10,000. 10,000. This will be 100,000. This is million. 10 million. 10 million. This is 100 million. Then after million, you go to billion. You go to what? Billion. You go to what? Billion. You go to what? Billion. This here is like a line. Because of this my comma, let me write it 1,000. Let me write this comma properly so for easy understanding. And this is H also. And this also is H. So this is unit, tens, hundred, thousand, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million. So after 100 million, 1,000 of a million is billion. You can use the analogy. You have billion, 10 billion, TB, tens of billion, 10 billion, tens of billion. Then you have what? 100 billion, 100 of billions. 100 of what? Billions. 100 billion. So the place value of this unit, tens, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion. So having done that, you can now come here. Don't forget you are calling it after three numbers. 400 billion. You move this way. 400 billion. 400 billion. 400 billion. 400 billion. 400 billion. 610. 610 million. 400 billion. 610 million. 610 million. 610 million. 387,000. 387,000. 387,000. 380. Can I write the 80 here? AIGH 87. 387,000. Don't forget 400 billion. 610 million. 300 and this is 387,000. 200. 307,200. Why is it 200? It's not 200 and something. The digits after 2, the number that is placed in 100, they are all zeros. So you have what? 200. 100. So this is 400 billion, 610 million, 387,200. 307,200. 400 billion, 610 million, 397,200. So I hope you've learned something from this class. I hope you've learned how to write down numbers that are billions, that are in billions, millions. And I hope you've learned how to not just write down numbers, write in words those numbers. So write this down, and this is your assessment. This is what you will do. So this is what you do. Assessment, which you can call assignment. First, you write in words. Write in words. Just four. Then, if you want to further your understanding or you want to cement your understanding, you can take your textbook and look for more questions on this. Then you answer. So you write in words. Okay, let me make it five. 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 So write those in words. Then you write this one in numbers. Okay. Write this one. Write as numbers. Oh, sorry. Sorry. 300 and 333,000 200 and 19. Then two um 300 million 300 million and 24. 300 million and 24. Okay, let me maintain the black ink. So let me call it out. 313,507,121. Please take this assessment very seriously. It's very, very important. I need you to do it. You must have a note for this. So when you've written down what you need to write from the lesson, you write assessment. Write this, write this, write this. Write this, write this, write this, then solve it. This will enable me know how well I've done in teaching this topic. Very, very important. Please, parents, make sure your child or guide make sure your child take this assessment. Very, very important. 313,507,121 4000 4,000,780 70,329,114,000. Then write as numbers or write in numbers, whatever way. 55,333,219. 55,333,219. 300 million and 24. 300 million and 24. So I look forward to having the one-on-one support session with you and seeing your solution to this assessment. Thank you. See you in the next one.